Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist. It is Friday. We made it to Friday. It's finally Friday. We did the Monday thing. We did the Wednesday thing. There was a little bit of a bump there. And now we've made it to the Friday thing. And I've got some people here today. We're gonna atheist a little bit today. Atheist content creators. I got a whole bunch of atheist content creators. This morning, my co-host is Justin. Good morning, Justin. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm wonderful. Justin is the empathetic atheist. He's got his own channel. He co-hosts with me fairly regular, so most of you probably already know him. He is wonderful. And let me bring these guys on. I've also got Austin and Mike from the Atheist Roundtable channel. And these guys have just been blowing it up.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good morning. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us on, bud.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys, real quick, before we get too far, tell me where you at on subscribers. I didn't look before the channel. I forgot. And then now is because you guys, like I said, are going just phenomenal. You broke 500 already, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
see, that's like a month and a half, 2 months.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been a
we hit the lull. I think finally everyone's like you'll hit that bump, but it's still going out at a pace that we never even thought would happen at the beginning. So
yeah, I need to get some pointers from you
pretty
guys.
awesome.
I've been doing it for almost the same amount. I've almost been doing it for about the same amount of time as you guys, but I'm at like 250 right now. So I need to take some pointers.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I guess you guys do a lot of debating on your show. Is that right?
No, we've only had one, maybe two formatted debates. You know, I think it really comes down to the format and the structure of the show. That you know, there's a reason it's called the Roundtable, and that both sides, whether it's atheist, theist, agnostic, or they believe in fairies and Santa Claus. You know, it comes down to epistemology and why do you believe what you believe, and they love. Like tonight, we have a gentleman coming on that's been a pastor for 25, 30 years, wrote 3 Christian books, and he is eager to come and sit and have that conversation and get epistemology. So I think it's just a different approach that was needed in the atheist community, and people are falling in love with it.
That's good. Yeah. I'm going to be on your show one of these days. Am I right?
You're on this weekend, sir.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, lock safe in here. Now, there's something that happened. I'm gonna share this with you guys because we're all friends and whatnot. So I'm quick and eager to be on other people's show, and oftentimes I'm like, "Hey, Mike, I'm gonna be on your show, dude. Cool." So I just work it down. I don't think nothing about it really after that, and then I show up and I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" Let's set that aside. Now, also, I kind of normally
set you up just to debate you.
Well, yeah. Normally, I don't debate either. I don't normally do debates. So let's set that over here. And last night, I showed up at the Raging Atheist's channel, Nakasuchi's channel, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm here, guys." Or guy, how are you doing? I thought it was just going to be me and him, and it turned out he had put a deal up to where it's me and him debating 2 Christians. And so, yeah, if you guys want to see a little bit of a Super Chris debate,
you were out of your element there, so to speak.
Yeah, you could. I was out of my element, but that doesn't mean I did poorly. Perhaps that was only because of the quality of my opponents, or lack thereof.
A couple shows ago, I actually had Barely Protestant on, who you had on your show. I had him on my show, and I had a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, he's a good conversation. He actually wanted to debate me in the beginning. Whenever I first started the channel, I was like, "I'm not going to debate you. I don't debate people." There's rage, yeah, yeah. See, yeah. So I did poorly because I don't contain myself. I don't go. The second part of the third point you tried to make is part C of A. I don't do that. I'm like, "You're dumb. You're wrong, and you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong." Don't you have the internet? Do you ever feel stupid? Do you ever see? And that's why I'm not a good debater, because I do things like that, and I end up potentially embarrassing myself.
I think that's like kind of honestly like for me, that's like how I went into a lot of conversations. Was like, I really wanted to just know here's why you're wrong, and I get frustrated, and I think Discord and things like that. And now it's to the point where even off the show, me and Oz are having conversations with, probably more people, outside of the show, on Discord and our own personal and private lives. or in a group setting. And so it's gotten almost to the point where for me, it's like I've seen a better approach, because people will put up a wall if you kind of do certain things. And it's not to say that those methods aren't effective, but we've just found something that appears to actually create a conversation that all three parties involved, like the viewer, us, and the guest. So
that's wonderful.
That's in that regard.
That is wonderful. I want to say thank you to Pasta Mike for a $20, $19.99 support to the channel. He says, the Atheist Roundtable, where we find folks to come chat with Austin and Mike about why they believe what they believe and what got them to their belief. Then we drink whiskey. Well, yes, he does backstage. Yeah. Well, it's a great. I've run into in my experience, and one of the things. All of you guys have been on the show before, so I didn't really do a terribly good job introducing you. I'd like to take a moment and let like empathetic atheist Justin tell people, because it's been a while. Let him tell people real quick about his channel, and then you guys, if you don't mind, we'll talk more about your channel. But there's just so many good. I lost my train of thought. I did that for free right here. No, yeah. So Justin, real quick, because I'm a bad person, I didn't give proper introductions. Oh, and thank you, Mike, for the $19.99. Can you give us a brief up on your channel, how things have been going since last time you were on our show?
Sure. I do have a quick question before I jump to that.
No questions.
And this is a question that Oz or J Mike can answer.
Okay.
Pasta, I think it's Pasta Mike.
Pasta Mike.
Is he ordained?
He 100. Yeah, he's a Pastafarian. Yep.
That's okay. Awesome. Sweet. I'm a ordained minister through the Pastafarianism. That's cool. So yeah. I've been doing this for about as long as I guess the Atheist Roundtable has been doing theirs, and I'm guessing that we have some similarities in what we were seeing what the atheist community needed, because I somewhat do the exact same thing. So I'll have about an hour to where I'll do a one-on-one conversation with either a theist or an atheist, and either get their deconversion story or get their story on where they came to be where they are. I try not to get a whole drawn out hours worth of deconversion story, because that's typically Neil the 604 atheist. That's his gig. So I try and keep it more towards the conversation of some other subjects. But I'll talk with them for about an hour, and then I'll take about a 15-20 minute break. We'll go into an after party to where I have 4 other people come into the room and join us, and try and keep it 3 atheists, 3 theists of any shape or form, and we sit and have conversations. And our after parties, I think my longest one was like around 5 hours, to where we were just sitting around talking about I don't ever want to end the conversation, because it's such a good it can get so deep and such a good conversation.
Sure.
So especially with you guys, Chris has been great in kind of handing some guests over to me and telling them, hey, go check out the Empathetic Atheist show. And I feel like we could do that good for each other too. I have a man that would completely blow your mind, who's got the most unique view ever. His name's Richard Mattson. I'm sure. He's been on a lot of my after parties, and man, this guy, he's got the most outlandish, crazy. It makes Mormonism look simple, and he backs it up. He's ready to answer any single question that you throw at him. So, that's
a bold claim.
Yeah.
We have a guy that literally says he's the and he believes it, that he is the return of the Messiah. So we got some good ones we can trade.
Yeah,
I have a 50. I have a woman that I talk to. I still haven't been able to get her on my show. She's 52 years old. She believes that she is the flesh and blood of Jesus Christ. The funniest part of it is her 15-year-old son is an atheist.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, Richard Mattson is a lot of fun. I mean, his views are different. And I've had several encounters with him, and I have to be honest, I still don't completely understand his views.
Oh, me neither.
But they are different, and it's sometimes not about the story so much as how you tell it. Yeah. And he's got a good personality for telling the story. Real quick, I want to say best name ever says Kristen. Good morning, Kristen. Said, I'm loving the fact that people usually respect the concept of Neil's show. Neil the 604 atheist. Don't tell me all of it. You should go on Neil's show. Have all of you been on Neil the 604 atheist show yet? Everybody?
That was my first show that I was ever on.
Mike?
I might be the oddball out, but we've been working on it. I meant to get on an after show with him, and I've been I'm so deep into my studies right now that sometimes it hasn't lined up schedule wise, but we are gonna.
Well,
We got one guy from the round table that's going in July. Then I know I'm gonna. We're doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jesus Mike doesn't know it yet because he's been neck deep in his schoolwork. But I already got dates for him and Jeff, one of our other guys. He just doesn't know that yet.
Awesome. Jesus Mike. That's great. As opposed to Pasta Mike and Jesus Mike. I can see why you would separate the two. Yeah. Somebody made a comment about Jesus Mike. But I missed it. It was a while ago. So, real quick, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We got more people showing up in the chat. You guys are wonderful. I don't know where you guys come from. You're awesome. Boomer, Wes Studevant, Obscure. Wes is here.
Hey, that's my right-hand man right there.
See, Wes is awesome. I've been on Wes's show. He's been on my show. Chris, people really enjoy whenever Christopher comes over on the show from their channel too. He's a lot of fun. Gary Priestley, JJ Del Angel. Goodness gracious, you people are all so wonderful. Mrs. Mills. I think that one, she's with you. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, didn't you guys get engaged just before our show or the night before our show, the first show you were on my show?
Yep.
Congratulations to you. Still.
Congrats.
Phil Lister, The Rage, he was here. Trina DeLuca, of course. Good morning, Trina. I just want to say hi to as many people as I can. Epileptic Skeptics. Okay, guys. Now, I've said my highs to everybody. We got Justin taken care of. Now, if we can talk about your channel for a little bit. You've already talked about your unique perspective, which is interesting. I do enjoy that. There's this new kind of friendly atheist wave coming along of people who are more about engaging in conversation with these other people than actually debating and yelling at them. And that doesn't make no sense to me, but I like to watch. So we've got, Justin the Empathetic Atheist. You guys have a very interesting approach. Ethan, your friendly neighborhood atheist, does it. Of course, we all know the friendly atheist, Hermit Meta. You know what I mean? So I find this a very interesting approach. Of course, it's not all, but I do. This is one of those things that I think is a diamond of many facets. Some people you can approach with the friendly method. Some people you need to point a finger at and kind of.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm the point and finger guy. And
yeah.
So
I wouldn't say that we're friendly. Honestly, I would say that we're honest about it. But if we're gonna challenge you. That's for sure.
Okay.
There's a point in time where the empathetic atheist, the empathy part goes right out the window.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a point, because sometimes, and that's the whole deal. I've been around long enough to know that some people you can talk to and some people you cannot. They're zero interest in talking. They have all they're interested in doing is talking. They have, and you have to go, no, I'm not going to deal with you. But over here, I got somebody of potential who will talk and engage and have a conversation, and we may both learn something. But this person, I'm just not going to waste my time on. And sometimes it appears as though with the friendly approach, they don't really realize there's that. And I'm thinking, well, give it a year or two, and then we'll see how you feel about those guys, because they'll still be there. And what has your experience been? Have you met a lot of those people on your show who will not budge and have no interest in doing the thing, or have you met some people who will willing to conversate?
Well, Chris, I'll be totally honest with you. I think it's all about the initial approach, even before you go on screen. So my approach is just like I would with basically my career. I'm a sales director, and I screen and vet everybody before I would ever think about putting them on a sales floor, because they're going to engage with my customer, right? Mm-hmm. So we have phone conversations, we have email conversations, and I have a good idea before we even walk into this, and go on screen, of what kind of personality style and profile that I'm dealing with. Are they an A-type personality? Are they going to get combative? I kind of already know all those things. That way, before Mike or Pasta or Jeff or Steve, before anybody ever talks to them, I've already kind of started to let them know that they don't have to have all those walls up. That this is going to be a good conversation, and you can be as opinionated as you want, but we're here to have a conversation, and we want to learn from you too. So I've already built that rapport off of screen before anybody ever sees them pop up on our screen. So when they come on, it's already kind of like we're already friends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so once we go on screen, even if they came into the show or even the screening part, like, oh, I'm gonna crush these atheists. They don't know shit, and they're coming in. By the time they actually get screened, like, oh man, these guys are really cool, man. I just want to talk to them. So even the ones that you would think coming into it have that militant approach to their theism, by the time they hit the screen, I've already really softened them up. And I don't know about you guys, but it's a lot easier for somebody to point to me and say you're wrong when we have rapport and we have a relationship, then I just walk onto a show and I don't know any of the characters on the show. I don't know any of the personalities. And all of a sudden I have two atheists telling me I'm dumb because I believe in a God. Well, guess what? We're not going to have a conversation. We're not going to get anywhere. So I think that's the biggest separation there, is building the relationship and having that rapport before we ever get into the theology or the belief system or any type of epistemology.
Right. That's good, interesting way to go. Go ahead, Mike.
I totally agree. I have a lot of people that are very reluctant right at first, and I kind of send them to my other shows and say, hey, here's my channel. Take a look at some of my other shows. I've interacted with you on Facebook groups or wherever I meet them. And yeah, you have to deflate that balloon. You have to bring the tension down and make them comfortable to come on. And once you do, it's pretty free flowing.
Well, in my case, I tend to do these, I sing to the choir, preach to the choir. I have other atheists on. This is about raising everybody's boat, supporting your channel. I have other atheist content creators come on, and we have atheist guests come on. I don't often have people come on from a contrary standpoint, but you guys do.
That's what I aim for.
Your whole bag, is to get people of a contrary nature. So, Justin, let me ask you. So, one of the things that's been going on, I notice, is that sometimes whenever you host somebody that we see as, I don't want to use the term villain, but they're like the bad guy because they're on the other side of the thing, When you host somebody like that, do people give you grief about giving this person a platform? Have you experienced that yet?
Yes, I have. I have, and I don't want to throw out any names because they're part of our community. But there's some people that just don't want to listen to basically listen to them preach. And true. A lot of times, I do have to cut it off and say, "Hey, this is not a platform to hear you preach." There's so many other live streams and so many other channels and music stations and a plethora of stuff that you could go preach at. That I'm more like Oz was saying about epistemology. What do you know? How do you know what you think you know? I don't want to hear what your pastor has told to you, and you're just going to regurgitate it on my channel. I want to know why you know what you know. So yeah, there have been people that say, "Hey, I don't typically like the mumbo jumbo." Sometimes, for example, Richard Mattson, I have him, and I have. One guy, his name's Pastor Taylor. He is a young earth creationist hellfire preacher. And 15 minutes will go by, and it's just them two arguing with each other about what they believe. Well, I sit back as an atheist, and I'm like, yeah, he's pointing out your flaws, and he's pointing out your flaws. I don't even have to do any work here. but yeah.
Kind
of makes your job easy, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, can I, if I can jump in there, that you made a great point there. Anytime I have a atheist, a skeptic, question, why would you give, why would you give a theist, especially a Christian, considering the part of the country we're in, and I'm in the Midwest, why would you give them that platform? Why would you let them, preach their message on your channel? The number one, if you want to soften somebody up to have a real conversation and get down to epistemology and why you believe what you believe, people's favorite thing to talk about in life, and I don't give a shit who you talk to, their favorite thing to talk about is themselves.
Yep.
So once you get them talking about themselves and what they believe in, the whole world opens up. Because then guess what they do? As soon as you show interest and Jesus, Mike, and I, or whoever's hosting that night, like, oh yeah, tell me more. Oh yeah, tell me more. And you get that relationship and you start doing that. Guess what? When we get to the why, they just vomit and puke all over you. They give you all of the, if you want to call it this, all the nonsense, all the BS. It all really comes out because now you have that rapport, and now you have that relationship where one-on-one you can say, well, actually, no, man, that's so far-fetched, and here's why. Let's use logic and let's use reason. Now let's go back to the beginning and walk all the way back through that, and let me show you why you're wrong. Instead of just pointing the finger and say you're wrong, you're dumb, and hang up, so it is a unique approach, and I'm glad more people are using that, because that if I always say a deconversion process is not a microwave thing. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a crock pot. And if we want to really help people that are theists or have these radical views and beliefs, if we really want to help them move from one place to another, we have to put them in the crock pot, and you can't just throw them into the deep fry bin and just want it done.
Yeah. And there's an important part of the process of building the rapport and all that, because I've just noticed, at least when I engage with somebody, especially on the why, which Oz was referring to, is just why do you believe, essentially, and how we section the show. What do you believe? How did you get there? And why do you ultimately think it's true? Once we get to that why, if I, Chris, if I'm engaging with you and I ask you, that's interesting, Chris, how did you come to that? When you use people's names and you rephrase it for somebody, I've noticed that it almost impacts them more. And it's a little weirder if you just do it to somebody you might not have a rapport with. But when you can kind of, engage them by their name and feel like they know you, it takes a lot of the underhandedness, I feel like, out of it, because there's really no, the idea is not to trap you or put you in some hole, but to get you to look at what you came to your conclusion as. And we do this to atheists, and we're trying to get better, I think, at honing more into atheism and seeing how they came to their beliefs. Because, if you're an atheist, that there's people that are an atheist for bad reasons. And I think that's something worth exploiting. And this doesn't even have to go with just theology. I personally want people who believe in ghosts and things, because I don't believe in anything supernatural.
I want to talk to somebody that believes that knocking on wood means something.
Yeah. Right. Well, it can be animism or anything where people might think like objects have consciousness. Anything in that. I want to go into any claim that someone might have that we can actually look at, because it doesn't always have to be about God.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt. Can Mike and Austin, do you guys mind? Is it possible for you to turn your mics up? You're kind of, both of you are a bit low. If it's possible, I know Mike was already having trouble. We worked with Mike before the show, and we thought we were doing pretty good, if possible. And then also, I have a question for you guys from Kristen. Do you guys have a custom URL with YouTube? Have you done that yet?
We don't have a custom. No, we need to do that. We've been kind of switching from different platforms on there. The YouTube thing, that's all on me. I need to do better at that.
Okay. Well, once you break 100 subscribers,
that'll be number one once I get off here.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So that's the answer to that. Now I can catch up. I gotta ask these questions, or the chat gets so far gone. So that's really interesting about your channel and your method. And so I guess so far, I had normally, like I said, I preached to the choir. I had a Christian on my channel. I got quite a bit of blowback from my people. I just really wanted to, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. First, I wanted to hear what he thought and his beliefs were, and I got grief for not stopping him on every point and telling him where I thought he was wrong. I don't got time. I don't want to fight with my chat, and I don't want to fight with my people on the guest. And again, my deal is all about atheism. And us atheism, or weed and atheism, or sci-fi and atheism.
Just for the viewers that listen in, this is an issue that I had with my last show that I had. I was talking to a lady who was a leader of an apologetics camp, and we have an hour to talk. So I have to kind of pick my battles. I want to go back through and do a review on the conversation I had, so I can address all of the other things. But some things, as a content creator person that's having the conversation while live with that person, if you bring up every single point that they talk about and try and dispute it, we'll be on here for hours. And if we only have an hour to do this, and you have to kind of pick your battles. You got to figure out what's the important points to bring up, what's the important points to argue against. And like Austin and Jesus Mike was saying, to get this story from them, not only to deflate the balloon and like you said, vomit everything else out, but now you don't have any worries of possibly straw manning that person. You know their views, you know you know what they understand. You don't have to worry about saying something. You know, you can use their own words against them, and that's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best method.
Well, and what my personal
you completely understand it.
Yeah, my opinion on that is, even, whether it's we're talking about a atheist podcast and we're having theists and believers on, or it's a business, or we're talking about relationships and marriage, or whatever it is. If the only view you ever listen to is your own, shame on you, because you're not getting better, you're not learning anything, and you're not learning about the human beings around you. How are you going to impact humanity? How are you going to impact our globe if the only story that you pay attention to, the only story you listen to, is your own? So I would say, if that is anybody's view, I love you, but you're skewed in your view and how you're approaching life and how you're approaching humanity. Because the more I know about these theists and these believers, the bigger impact I can make when I have these conversations with them, because I actually understand their position. I actually understand why they believe what they believe. But if I just go in guns blazing just because I'm an atheist, I'm probably not going to get anywhere. So I that's why I push back on that. And you should be, I listen to Christian content all the time. Is it nonsense to me? Yes. Is it craziness to me? Yes. But it helps me understand further why and how they get so enchanted and so entangled in that belief system.
Yep. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you guys.
If I would,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what got you guys as a group together as Tart? And there's a delay. We could keep going. Oh, you go. Oh, you go. Oh, you go. Or I'm just going to go. What got you guys to go with Tart, and how got you started? What brought you guys together and made you go, you know what? We need to make a YouTube channel. What happened? How'd that happen?
So I love, I love telling the story, and then I'll let Jesus might give his story from his perspective. But I am, and the guys always know that I was raised and trained that you give honor where honor's due, and you don't steal the credit. So Pasta, that he's always popping in the chat rooms, even when we're on other people's shows, like this morning. Pasta's always there. He's always supporting. Not that the other guys aren't, but Pasta's always right there behind us. And we met Pasta on TikTok about a year ago or so. And I was one of his first atheistic followers, so to speak. And him and I just hit it off on there, and grew a great friendship through that. I was going through my divorce and everything, and he was just a source of atheist comic relief, because he does mostly satire. And I just fell in love with his material. And then him and I got to talking, and then he met Jesus Mike, and he met Jeff, and then we met Steve, and on and on and on, and then can I tell you, it's this simple. All of us just quickly formed this bond and this trust with each other, and we would, talk and shoot the shit, but then we'd have like real life conversations, whether it's about, my divorce, or, mental health, or, things like that, whatever the other guys are going through. And then, most of the other time it was, just chopping it up and having fun and laughing. Well, then we're like, man, what if we could turn this into something? Because we have really, really great conversations. What if we could turn this into something? Then we started doing little Skype videos just by ourselves, and we'd splice them up and post little things on TikTok, and, do things here and there. And then finally we're like, basically, why are we wasting our time? Why aren't we putting this stuff out? Like, we really believe that people want to hear this and want this type of dialogue. So we created a YouTube channel, started a website, started the other social media platforms, and it's just, took off from there. But as far as how we started, I call it, it's cheesy, but now you'll laugh because it makes sense. I call yes, it's Tart, the Atheist Roundtable, but behind the scenes, I call it Pasta Salad, because Pasta's really taken all these pieces and put it together, and now we have Pasta Salad. So that's how we got started. And I would say that Jesus, Mike, and myself, we yes, we're the ones on camera most of the time, doing the talking and hosting the shows and everything, but we got a mad list of people behind the scenes that help produce and promote and all that. So we're very, very fortunate to have the team we do, because they're all a bunch of badasses. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Now, I have seen Pasta Mike. I didn't know some people like Kristen, because every time I point at Kristen, I go, "There's Kristen over there." She goes, and hides in the corner. But we have these wonderful people like Kristen and like Pasta Mike, who are always there supporting the Blazing Wizard Pope, always there supporting, helpful, just a lot of people like that. Some of them like to be on camera, some of them don't. And I didn't know if Mike, and then I saw Mike, Pasta Mike, the Mike of Pasta, was on your channel live. And dude, he's got this awesome voice. Have you guys heard? I'm talking to the chat. Pasta Mike has got this awesome voice. You ought to check him out. Anyway, so
if you want, he does take a very small fee if you'd like him to read bedtime stories to you.
Ooh.
Oh, my
There's no time for romance.
Is this like comparable to Seth Andrews' voice or anything?
Yes, very much. Very much.
Yes,
Yes.
very much so. I would say.
Occasionally I'll go, hey, Mike, do you want to come on the show? But I'm running the show, and, I look up and I don't see an answer and it's gone. So I'm going to pin him down. Mike, you need to come on the show. I need to get you as a guest, Pasta Mike, El Mico de Pasta O, on the chat, on the show to be a guest. Because I know you do it. Don't lie. Don't say I'm camera shy. No, I ain't buying it. Can't sell that. And don't tell me you're sleeping because you're here in the morning supporting. So I know you're awake.
In his defense, he's because he's not gonna say this, but in his defense, he's got just a super pure heart, because his intention is not to, because he's a smart guy. He's comedic. He's brilliant with editing and putting everything together. He introduced me in Austin, knowing that this would probably happen without us even knowing that this would happen. And this is, so he's got a lot of foresight, but he's not going to take the shine off of like any part of the show that he thinks, should be like, if Austin and me were to not do a show and he was offered to do a show, he looks at it from a very business standpoint where, it's like, he's a producer, a director of the show. He wants to give, the host the limelight on that. So it's not that I don't think he wouldn't do it. It's just that, there's an order of things, I would say, and hopefully I'm not misrepresenting him, but he's got a lot of foresight, and there's a method to his madness, and without it, I would not be here talking, awesome. on a show that's got, well, I look up to you in that regard, because it's like when I knew about you before we did this, and so it's like, it's weird, so, but I owe that all to him in that sense. So it's like, he should come on, but he's also very, I'm going to make sure that we do this the right way. And Jesus Mike hit the nail on the head. But Chris, as much as he does that for us, we want Pos to get his shine too. So keep pressing him.
Oh yeah. I want him on the show. I haven't thing here. You've mentioned
away.
Yeah, you've mentioned other names, and I'm always looking for folk. You mentioned Jeff and Steve. I would not be against. Would they come on the show? I don't think I've seen them. Do they have faces?
Steve, I think you scheduled for like July 11th or something like that.
Oh, really?
But what I was going to say, and I think Jeff said he was down. I think it'd be great if you did Steve and Jeff together, like you're doing with Mike and I right now, because their personalities and their styles bounce off each other, just like Mike and I's did.
That's okay. I'm down. Absolutely. Because I like I said, you guys stream every day almost, right? 5 or 6 days a week.
So what it is right now, my job, I got laid off. I'm a sales director, so I'm going to be literally one of the last ones to get back into work. So I told the guys, I'm going 199 miles an hour. And if there's episodes you can't be a part of, cool, let me know. But we're going to go and we're going to kick content out at a rapid pace until I go back to work, because then I'm back to 60 plus hours a week, so right now we're going hot and heavy. Yeah. Like this week, I think we did 6 out of 7 days, and we're machine gun, like,
my wife would kill me.
Luckily my fiance is the greatest fiance to ever walk the planet, and lets me chase my dreams. But yeah, once I get back to work and I have a family and all that, on top of that to take, because really this is my full-time gig right now until I go back to work. So right now it's a very toward pace, but that will, that'll taper off a little bit once I get back to work.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're building something where we can have an umbrella where we'll have more content that's not just the live streams. I'm working on a video right now that will center on editorial fatigue within the Gospels and things that'll be a little bit more for the nerdy sense of those things.
Okay.
And then we'll also have other things. So even once we slow down, and if that happens in regards to the live streams, it's going to be replaced by content that we've been working on since the inception of the show. So
when you do those,
it'll pan out very well.
Jesus, Mike, when you do those, are you going to have possibly a guest on to talk about that with you, or is it still going to be the whole roundtable? Because I think somebody who was on Chris's show, he's been on my show, would be great for that. His name's Daniel Reynoso.
Yeah.
And Daniel will go all day long about the Gospels. And
yeah, that guy's got a motor. You just turn him on and he just woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I need to invite him back to the show.
And that would be part of the process. For me, I want to provide kind of like a narration of things, going over things, almost like a response to guys like inspiring philosophy and where the ways that they do it. I don't think that we have as much of an atheist presence in that world. And I write, like, it's funny because I'm actually at a buddy's who we're working on another channel. Oddly enough, I'm actually like a huge UFC wrestling guy, so we've been trying to work on other stuff in that regard. So I've been writing a lot of scripts for like little bits and things. So for me, it's more so like trying to stay as true to form to the material, and I wanted to add like comedy bits because that's just more my style. But I think for those ones, I would be so interested to like interview a guy like that, and then have those like Skype clips kind of put in there, because I don't want to take somebody else's words if I interview them and then just put them in my words as if I got the credit. So yeah, in a sense, I would love to record stuff with those people and then add that as part of like the 20-30 minute video.
So you got a lot of content going out. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
people don't realize how hard this is. You guys already stream all these times. Of course, there's more than one of you. That is key. I do enjoy that feature that you have. If there were more than one of me, but there's not. But yeah. But putting out content. Go ahead.
Well, Chris, could I? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's a good point you made. Is that this isn't supposed to be just like the Oz and Mike show or anything. It's like not what we're about. We find like a hole in, and the show in reference to like a lot of what I'd be talking about is a show that I look up to and I love, and a lot of people in the atheist community do. But they create a very much needed hole where we can give the theist a lot of time to talk, build a rapport, and then have a conversation. Beyond that, but what we're doing is like right now, and hopefully Oz and Pasta people in the behind the scenes won't get mad at me, but we just got a new co-host, Brina, who she's been a call screener for like Talk Heathen and things like that. So she's involved in the community. She's going to be a host this Sunday on our show. But the whole idea is that I'm talking to another girl behind the scenes, and we got a bunch of other people. We're trying to create like a female version of our show where there's like this need of kind of like godless bitches where there was a need for that, and there always will be. We want to create it so that there's just a huge umbrella where maybe that becomes the most popular show. I don't care, but as long as we have something on there, I don't care if my face or Oz's face is on it, but if we can create almost like a huge web of things where people can be like, hey, I want to interact on that would be awesome. The farther reach we can all go and show people, hey, you should think, the better. So
awesome. That's wonderful. Well, Pasta Mike says here that you and he will be hitting the streets of Atlanta soon, adorned with GoPros to capture street postamology. I've never heard the term postamology before. I'm logging that. That's good. Today was the day I heard postamology for the first time. Good. And it says you're going to satirically question the public about Jesus. It's going to be not serious like Anthony Magnabosco's stuff. Am I right?
So we're
which, by the way, Anthony's awesome. Just throwing that out there.
Yes, he is.
I've been talking to him behind the scenes, and he's an awesome guy. So
he's the boss. He's the boss. But and actually, late last night, and this will be update for Pasta and Jesus Mike as well, because T and I've been working on dates to fly down and visit those gentlemen so we can have live face-to-face time. So that last week, the last week of June going into July, we're going to go down there. And we're going to do some fun stuff, but we 100% plan on going to the streets down there. They're in the Bible Belt and having some fun. And we'll probably do some live episodes at the Airbnb that we're renting and all that. So here in a few weeks, be ready. The round table is going to have some some good knee slapping funny shit, and some good serious shit. So
awesome. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
You know, there's a funny story about Anthony. I have had one person decline to be on the show when I invited them for reasons other than scheduling conflicts. Only once. I've been fortunate to have somebody said, no, I just don't want to go on your show. And that was Anthony Magnabosco.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't disrespectful or anything. And I'm fairly certain he had no idea. Well, of course, it was just after I started the Daily Atheist Morning Show. So nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew the content of the show. So I sent him this message going, hey, I'd like to be on, like you come on the show. And he sends me back a response going, you know what, man, I appreciate the invite, but I'm really into the street epistemology. I guess he didn't realize I would love to have him tell us, you know, I've even had, what's his name, Objectively Dan on the show and shown about Objectively Dan, how Anthony Magnabosco. So I think maybe I might invite him again just to see if his understanding and if he changed and come back.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think it was him, and I don't want to speak for him at all, but I've watched him in interviews. So I love like Matt Dillahunty and I love, you know, Anthony Magnabosco, but watching their interaction with each other about street epistemology was like so cringeworthy for me.
Really?
Because Matt was just like, I don't agree with this. And it was just, I love them both, but in their own separate worlds. And I think for me, like if I was in that interview, I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm going to stick to just doing this rather than having to do interviews about it necessarily, because it's better in practice than it is me trying to, let me show you rather than let me try to explain to you. I think is maybe his thing. But let me put it this way. He messaged me the other day and was like, hey, I hope you don't mind if I'm going to use one of your videos that I had done on like TikTok or whatever. And he posted that on his Twitter the other day. So
that's cool.
He's a great guy. But yeah, I think, I definitely don't think, I think he'd rather show than do, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the episode where Anthony Magnabosco takes Aaron Ra out to the streets and tries to get Aaron Ra to do street epistemology?
I have not.
Yes, my friend actually, who, you know, in the other room, he showed me that, and I've never seen it. My buddy was crying, laughing so hard, just from trying to watch Aaron Ra do this. Like he was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So
eventually, Aaron Ra was like, "Screw this! No, you're wrong because this is."
See, that's where I would fail. I open with that. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're wrong. Okay, so for those of we talked about this a little bit earlier. If you don't mind me bringing this up, I don't normally debate. Because I'm Ranty Chris when I debate, and some people love Ranty Chris. So if you like Ranty Chris and you'd like to see Ranty Chris kind of going off on a couple of Christians last night, or at all period, you can go over to the Rage's channel. I'm going to see if the Rage will let me take my hour, because I was there for the first hour of the show. If he'll let me take that and put that on my channel, because you don't get to see me debate very often, and I didn't know that was what was going on. So when he pops this up on the screen, he's like, Chris, introduce yourself. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Why am I here? I'm going to debate some Christians. Yeah, I couldn't.
I would love to be in that situation. Get me on those. Get me back into my old ways of debating. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm not really. It's one of those things where here's the deal. Maybe this is the deal. The wife and I have been trying to figure out why, but for some reason I don't like doing it. I don't like. You would have to drag me like schoolboys towards books to get me to debate. But once I'm there, I'm like, dude, that's just stupid. What about this? And what about this? And what about this? And I feel like outside of the passion, I do really good as far as ranty debates go. I gnawed me a couple of Christians last night, rawr, you know, kind of thing.
Could I give you one tip?
Well, wait. But if you went by actual debating rules, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible debater, and that's kind of my thing. So go on with your tip.
Tip is just read. If it's with Christians, read the Bible. That's the number one thing that you can do. That's the number one thing that's armed me the most. So I would.
Oddly enough, that's what I did. I was like, "Did you know?"
Yeah. Then at that point, there's a point at which things are going to hit the wall. Most of the time, they're never going to stick. They're just going to fall. But
gotcha.
I think I don't know if Austin said it, but it's not a microwave. It's like a crock pot. You got to wait for it to cook a little bit.
Who's in the chat?
Yeah, it's
Mr. Richard Matson's in the chat.
Yes, you were going to say, Austin.
It's what the style you're talking about. The one thing, like even with our approach and empathetic atheist approach, both are needed. Like it's not like one's better than the other. It's just that in our community, we've only really got to learn and be accustomed to the aggressive style, instead of the more artistic style. That's kind of how I separate them. Because can I tell you, when I went through my deconversion, Chris, your style is the style that helped me go through my deconversion, right? And that in your face, no, that's foolish, that's ridiculous. How could you be there? All of those things. But now understanding, because I'm a psychology guy, understanding personalities and who, not just who I'm talking to, but what I'm talking to as far as the personality and the belief and the makeup. I learn better from your style, but I communicate better through this style. So it's not that it's not needed, because I needed Matt Delhunty to slap me in the face and tell me I was stupid, when I was coming out. But now when I'm communicating, that's not my style. So both are very much needed, because I was so indoctrinated and so eyeball deep in religion and belief that I needed somebody to slap the taste out of my mouth, so to speak, and say, hey, listen up, bud. So they're both needed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Now, real quick, Justin, your words did not go amiss. Yes, Richard Madsen, the Richard Madsen, is in the chat this morning. Good morning, Richard. These gentlemen would probably enjoy having you on their channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm sure Justin and you, or they and you, or we and you somewhere, you got you can get with them. There's information down in the chat below, Richard, or we can get with something like that. You guys, I think it'd be a very interesting show. I'm sorry?
Tart.live, that's it.
Tart.live, there you go.
Yep, if you want to be on the show, Tart.live. There's a little button you click there, set at the round table, and then you can book your date. It's real simple, really easy.
Well, Richard says that he wants to have a talk with Austin Mills about his biases and religiosity. So that should be interesting. Very good.
Let's get it.
Good show. One of the things that I want to talk about briefly, I like where Justin's channel is going. Justin, we talked about where you've been. We haven't really spoken so much about where you're going. Do you have something you want to say before I get on my little rant about where I'm going?
So me and you have both the similar idea that we're doing, and I am trying to create some more content because I think I'm up to like 8 or 9 patrons right now. So I want to try and create some content for my patrons, or at least content that I can premiere to where I'm not going live. So you have your evil God Monster of Abraham, and I have secular scripture study, to where basically we're going to go through the Bible page by page and break it down, dissect it, and show what's wrong with it or what's right with it, or what, if I was God, this is what I'd do to change it. So kind of doing that. And I also, like I said before, I want to start doing reviews of like previous videos that I've done, because like I said earlier, I can only bring up so much. I can only attest so much of what they're saying on a live camera without it going 6 hours long. So what I'd like to do is kind of like do a review to where there's me on the screen and there's the video, and I break it down and edit it out to where I get the important parts that I didn't bring up and start to address those problems.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, awesome. I'm also trying. I got a fancy little OBS thing like you got set up on your YouTube, and I'm still getting used to that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you see my video where I talked about the touchscreen program?
Yes. Yeah.
If you're going to use OBS and you're going to change scenes at all on the regular, I recommend using that. Real quick,
I got Touch Portal.
Touch Portal. On your tablet.
I use my phone, but yeah,
same thing. Yeah. Beautiful. That's the one I use. I love it. It's magic. Can't talk tech talk. Wife will taser me through the internet. So real quick,
just the mic a favor and message all those OBS details to him if you can. Just give a Bible of OBS to us. I would love to get on a video chat with Pasta Mike and talk OBS for hours. I would love it. We are there. And we get Justin on there. We could just confuse the hell out of him for funsies. Please do it for us. We'll steal it all from you and we'll apply it. I promise.
And just make sure that it's privately recorded, not live, because one of my favorite things about Pasta, when he does get a little frustrated with technology, he'll drop little one-liners that are hilarious to me. He'll be like, Jesus in the morning.
Okay.
And just little things like that that may not make anybody else laugh, but I die laughing. So
Yeah, okay, all right, sounds like a plan. Hey, Justin, Kristen has requested that this is a really good idea. I think it'll help you. Just a thought, for what my opinion's worth, to go to your Patreon and start up a $1 tier plan. Some people like to help, and I think it's cool. So just kind of, if you don't mind, get a point to that. So what I'm going to do though, so now we've covered where Justin's going to go. You guys are awesome. I like where you're going to go. I'm going to change my channel name. My channel name was the Daily Atheist because I was going to produce all kinds of content, and I kind of have. I got my Daily Atheist Morning Show. I got the Evil God Monster of Abraham. Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist. I am Chris Mallard. And then I've got my Quickie with the Skeptic program. I got my Bill Wigglestick. 2 households, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where they lay are seen. But you know what? A lot of that doesn't really go on the Daily Atheist channel. So I'm going to take the Daily Atheist channel, and I'm just going to take Daily Atheist Morning Show, and I'm just going to add the Morning Show to the end of the name, or the Damn Show. I'm going to call it the Damn Show, and that's going to be the name of the channel, the Damn Show, and it's going to be just for the Daily Atheist Morning Show, because it's all-consuming. And then I'll take all my other content that I make, my little redneck stuff and all that other stuff, and I'll put that over on the Chris Mallard channel, because I have a Chris Mallard channel. So I'll be doing that over the next week or so. I think this Saturday will be the last Saturday where we are as the Daily Atheist, because it really just doesn't apply. Other people have changed, and I'm changing. I am changing for the same reasons they changed. So like Mr. Atheist, go watch his videos as to why he changed, same reasons. Now in his case, and people like The Rage and other people who've changed their name change kind of changes away from what they actually do, and it makes it a little harder. It goes from Mr. Atheist to Jimmy Snow. Who's Jimmy Snow all of a sudden, right? So for those other atheists who've gone through that kind of situation, they've had an adjustment period. But in my case, mine's actually going from the Daily Atheist to being quite more specific. It's going more specific where there's been away from specific. Mine is going the Damn Show, because that's really what this whole channel is about now. It's just 6 days a week. Sometimes more. I'll live stream on the Damn Show. So that's coming for you people who are aware. Don't be surprised if you see that next week. And then I'll start shilling my Chris Mallard channel. So you guys who are interested in other stuff can go do that. So I just want to let everybody know that.
That's great marketing move. Great marketing move.
You think?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Thank you. We'll see how it goes. I like the damn thing. And okay, so I'm sitting here the other day for those people who care, and I'm typing out an email. All right. So, I do Weed Wednesday, and I'm very pro cannabis, and I have met this thing. It's called the Genius Pipe. And I think it's just absolutely fantastic. You can't hardly see it. Anyway, I'm going to get another one that contrasts.
That's
so you can see
that silver one that you had, right?
Yeah. So, and
yeah, I saw that on Wednesday.
I was typing out a letter to the Genius Pipe people, and the same issue that Mr. Atheist and these other atheists who've changed their names around, the same issue come along. I'm sitting there going, hello, my name is Chris from the Daily Atheist. And it's like you're almost shooting yourself in the foot with almost any sponsor, by doing stuff like that. So there's that. And then also there's other things like Mr. Atheist was saying. He's got people who say, I'd love to be subscribed to you, but I've got family who it would really cause a problem if Mr. Atheist showed up as a video, just dropped a video alert came up on my phone. But if Jimmy Snow, it doesn't call, So there's a lot of reasons to do that. Of course, Neil and other atheists have this great point about normalizing atheism and making it normal. And I'm all about that. I'm all about normalizing atheism and putting it out there. But I don't think I should suffer financially in order to do that. It's not like a hill I want to die on,
Attaboy.
And really, like I said, the Damn Show is pretty catchy. I think it's pretty catchy. I need to get some logos made. So there's those kind of things. I just want to let everybody know that sort of thing is coming up. And don't be surprised. It's still me, the amazing Super Chris, with my wonderful guests and hosts, and nothing else is going to change. The logo is going to change. And that little logo that looks like my face, that guy, he did a wonderful job on that. But I get tired of seeing that little dude. I don't like seeing him everywhere. I want to have a logo that doesn't have my face on it, I actually have a shirt with that logo on one side. I walked into a place to get a suit made for a wedding I was going to go to, and the lady said, "Hey, is that you on the front?" Yeah, the guy did a good job. Yeah. So those things are coming. I just wanted to warn everybody that that's coming. And what I'll do, as far as those who want to see, I've got some new weedware merch out, and I've dropped my prices over on Teespring because it's too high. Teespring's default prices, not that anybody gives a shit. But so I did that according to Andy Hall. He taught me a thing. So I'm going to put a link to that. I'm going to put a link to the YouTube video over on the Rageous channel. So you people want to watch me go ranty Chris on some Christians, you'll get to. Don't do it till after the show though. Guys, we're getting near the end of the hour. Is there anything you'd like to say? You want to drop some links, or I think everybody, you guys are all mods, so you're welcome to drop some links. When's your next show, and we'll shout out.
Yes,
tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, so I'll do the schedule, and then I'll let Mike do the links. How about that? So tonight, like I shared earlier, Rob Yannock will be on. He's the pastor, and I've known Rob since I was probably 18, 19 years old, right around there.
Really?
And he's gonna be a great guest. So we'll do that. Then tomorrow night, Saturday, is Jesus Mike alluded to. Brina, our newest co-host, will be on, and she works with Truth Wanted and secular therapy, and we're going to talk about mental health and exiting religion. And it's going to be awesome because we both have similar stories as far as mental health diagnosis, religious trauma, all that. So it's going to be a great episode. We're going to do some questions and answers at the end. And then Sunday night, we have this guy.
All right.
This guy.
That's right.
He's
dashing and handsome, isn't he? Oh, that's me. I see. Sorry.
so we're really, really excited to have Chris on, and we're going to do a little different format than we normally do. When we have other content creators that help us fill this space on YouTube, we want them to have a chance for people to get to know them in their show as well, and it not just be the typical roundtable format. So that we will still do that, but it'll be abbreviated. If you watch Neil's show with us, we just abbreviate it, and then at the end give time just to have a conversation, talk, chill, get to know each other, and then our audience get to know Chris. And go from there. So no, it's going to be a great weekend. TART.live has our schedule, a way to be on the show, and anything else you need to know. Jesus, you want to tell them about the social media plugs and all that?
Yeah, sure. So there'll be a little confusion on Instagram. We have two accounts on there, but one of them is a personal account that I had just made the name on, but it's the Atheist Roundtable on Instagram. On Twitter is the Atheist Round 1 instead of the D. There's a 1 there. And then tart.live is where the main source of everything. So if you go to tart.live, like Austin had said, you have, sit at the round table, our schedule, merchandise for shirts, things like that. We have some pretty cool shirt designs. We're going to add some more for that as well. I'd say beyond that, really just if you could go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because that's the number one thing, as Chris, that helps you grow. So if you do that, that helps us the most out of anything.
And I've got tons of links down there. Let me look. I got all manner of links for YouTube, Patreon, SoundCloud. That's for Justin. So we've got lots of, I could use more for future shows. I'll get more links from you guys, and also Discord, right? Something about Discord. Mr. Austin was saying.
Yeah. If you're the person that you don't want to be on camera, and that's fine. Some people just don't want to, Chris alluded to that earlier. You just don't want your face on camera. That's cool. Go create a generic anonymous account for our Discord, and the link is on our website. And get in there and ask questions. If you're becoming starting to question, you're becoming skeptical of your belief system, your faith, get on there under some BS name. Use my name, I don't care. But get on there and start asking questions and get answers to your questions. And that's a great great place to start.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, once again, hey, Justin, while I post, I'm going to repost again the links for a few things, including my rant against the Christians last night. If you want to, go ahead and say your last words while I do that.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. So Saturday, I have Drew Davis, who is a Christian, on my show. And here next Saturday, I might actually be bringing my shows down to 2 live shows a week like I've been doing instead of 3. I normally go every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but I'm back to work right now. And the Atheist Roundtable, you guys are lucky enough to have a whole bunch of people to do stuff. I have Wes Sturtevant, who's like my right-hand guy. He makes my thumbnails and whatnot for me. But the rest of it, I have to schedule. I have to be, in Facebook. I've infiltrated multiple different Christian apologetics Facebook groups to try and talk with people and then bring them on the show. So it's a lot of work. So I might be bringing it down to 2 days a week and maybe doing something else, something that doesn't quite take as much time on Thursday. But next Saturday, I'm actually speaking with somebody you guys might want on your show. He's started off very timid, but he's been very friendly with me. His name's Nathaniel. He is a Christian, but he believes in the electric universe. So what I'm thinking is gravity does not exist, and he believes everything is based off of electromagnetism. It's pretty deep.
Yeah. Yes. We need that.
Sure. That sounds very interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I want to say thank you to all of you guys. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Again, go check out my ranty thing. I'm going to post another link here. Sam Slade, Andy Hall, and Leanne Lord. If you know Leanne from my Sci-Fi Saturday, they're going to be doing a live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern. Pop over there if you have time. Watch their stuff. Tell them Chris sent you. I'll be there too because I'm trying to support his channel and help him grow. Actually, I won't. I got to get a haircut. Oh, no. That's at 9 a.m. my time. So plenty of time for me too to catch the show. Yeah, well, this is, I live in the quarantine, and the wife cut my hair about 3 weeks, almost a month ago. And, despite being very nervous, she did a great job. Yeah, but it's time. It's time for a real, I need to go do the thing. So yeah, go check out Andy and them. I'm going to put a link here. Go check out Andy's show. Andy and them are wonderful and hilarious. And Leanne Lord is just the best. So, and tomorrow on Sci-Fi Saturday, I've been, we've talked about this before. My burnout comes in the form of not wanting to schedule and do that sort of thing. So I've just been really crappy. I haven't scheduled anybody for next week. I don't think. I could be wrong. So I'll be doing some mad scheduling. What's that?
I might have somebody for you. When I had my last show, not last night's show, but the show before that, I had a theist that he has a green screen. His whole backdrop is all Star Trek and Star Wars. And
I see.
If you guys kind of stay off the arguing about God thing, and I'm sure you guys could go for hours talking about sci-fi stuff.
Star Trek. Yeah. My experience one time hosting a theist was not a pleasant one for me. And I'm just not ready to go there yet. I'm just, that's when we get
ranty Chris.
It's one of those deals where I see the role of a host as a certain thing. And whenever I get Christians on, I feel like I'm supposed to be a certain nice to them or a certain hosty way to them. My chat wants me to rip into them, just, and I'm like, and part of me wants to too. Matter of fact, I was really, during the last time when I had Deacon James on the thing, I was trying so hard. And finally Deacon James said, you know what, you can ask me. You don't have to take the gloves off, whatever you want to ask. And that's when things started. I'm like, all right, well, what about this? And what about this? And it changed a little bit. But
well, Chris, if I could real fast, that's why, man, we appreciate you having us come on the show, and you have a very much needed a hole filled in the atheist community and bringing them on. So even if you don't bring theists on, what you're doing, I feel like is very, very needed in that regard.
Absolutely.
So
awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You give us all the platform where if someone wants to see a theist, then they can do that. If they don't, then they know what content to watch. If they don't want to listen to a theist or someone make claims of like, my brain can't handle that, I'll get a headache, then there's always need for atheist strict content or the mix too. So we appreciate
something else
you letting us on, man.
Thank you very, very much for that. Something else that's coming after I do the name change, probably I'm thinking over the next month, is I'm going to add a telephone line. I'm going to have folks call in once a week, and I'm going to encourage Christians to call in. So it's going to be a change. It will be a little different. Yeah. Of course, when Kristen, if
you're doing the same thing in a sense, that should be fun for you. I mean, I want to see you get into ranty Chris. That'd be funny.
And see, that's why we got to have a little banner going across that says, Christian, if you call this number, be warned.
Warning.
Yeah, monsters be here.
Hey, Chris, one of your mods said that you're allergic to theism.
Yeah, it does. It gets me all these little bumps all over. Goosebumps. I am. Yeah, my chat got a lot. Hey, yeah, and there's Richard. Did you hold back talking to me? I did, in fact. Remember, Richard Masson and I talked, and I had him on my show, and it was pretty. Then he and I talked briefly about doing a collaborative project afterwards. And during that thing, as we were talking about what may or may not happen, I couldn't help but go, but man, do you really believe that? And I kind of kept attacking his thoughts instead of trying to plan the show with him. I'm a bad man. I'm just a bad man. So, but I enjoy having him. He was a lot of fun. He was one of the Christians I didn't get any slack over. I didn't get no slack. It was just Deacon James. But in everybody's defense except Deacon James, no offense, Deacon James, Richard Manson and Deacon James don't share the same values. And Richard Manson or Deacon James is a Catholic who ascribes to some very kind of Catholic Protestant kind of thinkings about women, about gays, and just having him voice his thoughts, not challenging, just all right, man, tell me what you think. He couldn't get to the end of what he thought before my chat was blowing up calling him a monster.
He was on my show. We got into Exodus 21 and started talking about slavery and all.
Oh boy.
Slavery. Right now, actually this Sunday I'm dropping the 12th episode of the Evil God Monster of Abraham, the episode in which Abram and Sarai go to Egypt and give the Pharaoh an STD. That's going to be a fun. See, they don't even know about this stuff.
You're taking that out of context, Chris.
No. Actually, did you know that I'm into like chapter 12 of the Old Testament of Genesis, and every major hero so far, I'm not just talking about Adam and Eve. I'm talking about every major hero is an incestuous relationship or the product of an incestuous relationship. Every single one.
Yeah.
And now we're to
I think you have a problem though. Because the STD it's a metaphor. That's why I don't understand.
That's right. They didn't have STDs until the 40s. I understand. That's right.
Yeah, it's a big metaphor.
Just embrace your STD.
But if it walks like an STD, if it barks like an STD, and it quacks like an STD, I'm going to call it an STD. What's that?
I said, and then you got to cut it off like an STD. It's a requirement.
That's actually kind of funny. That happens in the next chapter of The Evil God Monster of Abraham. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you all for showing up and being with me this Friday. Tomorrow, we're going to do some science fiction stuff with me and Leanne. I don't know what we're going to do. It doesn't matter. We can do our stuff. We're okay. Everybody have a safe and wonderful weekend. I've got some new credits that I have been building for my show to say thank you to my patrons and my other peeps. So peep this, my homies, and y'all stay safe. See you later. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, the Blazing Wizard Pope, Ian Davenport, and Cindy Plaza. Thank you. Have a great day.